Morning guys, here's another art video from Miss G. Not quite the same as doing it in person at school, but anyway, we're gonna go. Hopefully you got together all the things I said in the write-up, in the announcement, and I'll show you what we're going to be doing, and then we'll just start, okay? Remember, you can always stop the video, back it up, do whatever you need to do, okay? So, this is our snakes in the grass, and this art is a little bit like the art that we did with the polar bear or the bear. Remember where we used paper, we used chalk in that activity, I think maybe a Sharpie for sure, and we cut things out and layered them. That's exactly what this is. So my snake is in and out of the grass, and we can do this by just following the little steps I have going on here, okay? Remember, do I want to see a whole bunch of snakes that look like mine? Absolutely not. You are far more creative and have far more artistic talent than I do, so really make yours stand out and make it about you, okay? So first step is you're going to get your white piece of paper and your pencil. I'm going to use a black marker so that you can see it. The only reason why I'd use pencil is if you want to erase it, okay? So the first thing we have to do is make the snake, and I'm just going to take mine apart here. I showed that to you. I kind of taped it down just to show you the pieces. So we're going to do step one, which is making the outline of our snake, okay? And the tricky part about this is you don't want to make the snake really skinny in certain spots or you won't be able to cut it out, okay? So we're going to use a couple different techniques that we've done before. And so I'm going to use some words. You're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember Miss G saying that when we were doing some other projects. All right, so anywhere you want to start on your paper is fine. You don't want to make your snake smaller than your hand, okay? So if you look here, here's another example of a snake I have. You know, you don't want it smaller than your hand, so don't make it a little tiny snake like this. Okay, make it large enough because you're going to have to cut it out. All right? So what you want to do is start with your snake's head, and kind of the best way to do your snake's head is to think about it as kind of an oval and with a little bit of a point, and that's going to be where the snake's mouth comes out. Mouth, nose, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to just, there you go. See, I drew kind of like a little open U, almost an oval. That's not quite closed, right? So an open oval. And then I want you to do that part, and perfect. And then I want you to put two little bumps on the outside. And those little tiny bumps, those little kind of half circles, are going to be the snake's eyes. And we're going to cut out around them when you cut, okay? So the next thing we want to do is start at maybe the top line here. And I just want to curve, maybe like I'm making an S. But I don't want the curve to be too tight. So you can see my angles there. Don't want it really tight. Again, it's going to be really hard to cut on the inside. So make yourself kind of a little bit of a wavy line with maybe a couple of dips in it. Okay? And when you're happy with that, what you're going to do is go to the bottom of your kind of open, I guess maybe it looks a bit more like a wide C. And then I'm going to start and go in, and I'm going to follow around and join it up. So this is it's kind of like when we did shadow cutting, you know, when you leave the outside rim. This is the same kind of thing. I'm going to follow the shape that I did up here with my first line, but I'm going to stay about two finger widths away from it the whole time so that I create the snake's body. If I go in too close, it's going to get too skinny. Okay? It's going to be really hard to cut. So go around and try that. See if you can get that to work, okay? Until when you're ready with it. And so you could pause the video now if you want, if you haven't got to this part. I'm going to keep going, so hopefully you've got this drawn now. And the next step is not to cut it out. This is a Miss G trick, a clue. Don't cut it out now. This will be really, really hard to do if you cut it out. Now is the time to color it. So I used crayon just because that's what I had at home. I did have some pastels. I did have paint at home, some tempera paint, but I gave that all away to one of the kids in our class at the start of all this, so I don't have it anymore. I had to go out and buy my own crayons actually the other day, so I had some. So, because I gave everything away. So, what I'm going to do is decide how I want to make my snake look. And I've, you know, got kind of colorful. I wouldn't say they're actually, this reminds me a bit of a coral snake, right, Mannix? Except for my colors are off. You can make your snake realistic if you want, or you can just make it fun and funky. So as you can tell, I went fun and funky. And this one, I did kind of a diamond pattern. So I'm going to do a diamond pattern on here as well. So I'll just, there we go, I'm going to choose this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a lot of pressure because I want my color to look really saturated or vibrant. So I just did these little X's like this. And I did my X design first, and then I went over it with the other colors I added. So, you know, you might want to do a diamond pattern, like a V like this, and then a V this way, a V like this, and then a V this way. Okay, up to you. You, like I said, way more talented than I am. So your step now is to color it and design it. Don't leave any white unless you want something to be white. So what you want to do is completely color it. So for example, here's another one that I did. Okay, so stop the video, get yourself all colored so you're ready for the next step, and then get your scissors. So I'm going to show you the trick to cutting this out, all right? And again, we've done this before. We've talked about this. The trick is moving the paper, not moving your scissors. So you're barely going to move your scissors. I'm going to actually bring this down so you can see. All right, and I'll start, let's see, I'll start at my tail. So I cut in, okay? And, oh, I'm sorry, I went around mine in a black marker. So if you, I'd really like you to go around the outside of yours in a black marker so it really stands out. It's wide, it'll make it easier for you to cut, okay? So outline it all with your black marker. And I'm gonna go in, and for this one, you don't want a shadow cut, you wanna follow it right along the line. So here I go. I'm in that little skinny part, and instead of trying to turn my scissors, I'm gonna just keep turning my paper and take little, see those little tiny cuts I'm doing? I'm turning my paper. And this isn't cardstock, this is just regular old copy paper. I'm turning my paper. Little cuts. Turning my paper. Okay, here we go. All right, you get the idea, okay? So I've got halfway around it because I was turning the paper, okay? It's gonna get a little trickier to cut this side, but you can do it. Go around those little eye holes that you did. Same thing. Turn the paper. And you can see here, I got a little bit narrower here than I did down here, and that's fine. I mean, you know, could be if it's fatter in one spot, maybe my snake has got a nice big fat juicy mouse right inside him. So you just want to finish cutting that, okay? When you've got that finished and you've cut it all out, okay, make sure you're happy with it. Now you've got this part finished, you're almost done. Then you're going to get your green piece of paper and whatever you've got. Again, I did have construction paper. I gave it away. So I had some bright colored paper at home here. It's just about making do with what you have, guys, okay? And I know your parents will help you out with that. So I took a piece of green paper and my blue paper. And guys, you want this to be horizontal, okay? So we want it to be landscape or horizontal, not vertical. Unless you have really big paper, then you could probably just do it vertically. But I felt for me it worked better horizontally with a small piece, okay? But you experiment. So if this is horizontal, I need my grass to go on the same horizontal. If I don't, and we've done these before where we've cut out pieces, if I don't go and draw my grass all the way across the paper, what'll happen is, I'm just going to fold this. What'll happen is you'll have this grass and it won't go all the way across your paper. So all of a sudden the grass will stop. All right, and you want the grass to go all the way across. If you happen to cut and make a mistake and your grass doesn't go all the way across, then just get the other part of your paper and add some more grass, finish it off. Add some more and glue it down. Okay, don't worry. All right, so how did I do this grass? This is just my example. You can do it any way you want. So I'll show you with my paper here. I've got one piece of green paper. It was a whole piece, and I just cut it in half. Okay, so now you've got an extra piece to do something else with, or if you make a mistake, you've got an extra piece to use. So I take my paper, let's see, I'm trying to figure out what the best way is for me to show you. I think I'll show you up on the big screen, or up on my board here. Okay, so I've got my piece here, and your grass can look any way you want. The trick is, the bottom part of your grass here, you want to leave it solid so that you can glue the bottom down and then snake your snake through the grass. So what I'm doing is I'm starting over at the side here, and then I'm just going up. And again, I don't want to do too many. I'm going to go this way a little bit. I'm going to go down low. And I angle off in different angles. So the grass isn't all going the same way. And I don't want to make it too skinny, again, or it'll be too hard to cut out. So, you know, that's what I did. Another way you could do it, I'm just going to flip it over. If this is tricky for you and it's easier for you to cut out pieces like this, cut out a bunch of pieces and glue them down overlapping, that's fine too. You could just make your grass like this. It could just be easy triangles. You don't have to try to angle it. You could just make easy peasy triangles, right? Just like that. Do you see how it crossed the bottom here? It's solid, okay? So if I'm gonna cut that out, what I'm gonna do is leave the solid part, and I'm gonna cut, oops, Miss G, didn't follow my own advice. See, look, I didn't go all the way to the edge there. So I need to make sure I cut, let's just see, there we go, so I don't goof it up. And so I cut, again, this is the tricky part, move the paper. Now, actually for this one, it's probably easier to cut down each of those little sections. See how I'm cutting in there? Moving the paper to the right angle, not moving my scissors. I moved my paper to the angle that matches the paper cut that I want to go on. Now, I guess I'm leaving my black lines here. I'm being kind of goofy. I think actually I'm doing this upside down from how I planned to do it. That's the problem. See, look at that, friends. See, I put mine upside down when I was cutting. because I'm looking at the angle in the I'm looking at the angle in the computer the wrong way. So I made a beautiful oops, but I'm gonna make it work, okay? You'll see. I wanted the bottom part to be fatter, but that's okay. I did it the wrong way. Let's see here. You can see what I mean. All right. Still gonna work because I've got enough paper at the bottom. Okay. So you don't want to see the black lines that I have, okay? I actually cut it the wrong way. I was supposed to cut and leave the bottom part in. But anyways, there's my grass. Okay? That's how she goes. If I were going to start this video again, it'd be fine, but I'm not going to. All right. Then you're going to get your blue piece of paper. And I didn't have pastels. If you do, you could use pastels to draw some clouds across the top. You could also take that little bit of paper that you have left, and this works well. And I think actually it would make my clouds stand out a lot more. So again, I just move the paper and I make a cloud shape. So I could, instead of drawing them on, I could also glue on a bunch of different white, and that would actually show better in this picture. Okay, so I could glue those down. I'll leave my couple that I have on there. You can use white glue, you could use glue stick, doesn't matter. All right, let's see. I'm going to throw a cloud here. It's going to overlap one of the clouds I drew. All right, so there I go. I glued down my cloud. And for this part, I'm going to use my grass I didn't goof up on, okay? I'll show you here. So there we go. Okay, so I'm going to take the grass that I cut out and I'm going to set it at the bottom of my paper. I'm not going to glue it down yet. I'm going to take a snake. Let's see, I'll go with my original. All right, so nothing's glued down yet. And then you need to fit your snake until you're happy with how your snake looks in the grass. So you might want your snake to poke up high, and you'll see here. Just see how my snake goes over top as well of the clouds. Because again, it's not that the snake is floating up in the sky, it's that these are behind him. The snake is close to us. The snake is in the foreground. The clouds are behind us. They're in the background, okay? And we've talked about this before. So when you get your snake stuck in between, in and out, however you like it to look, all right? You want it to overlap, all right? Then what you're gonna do, when you're happy with it, is you're gonna carefully lift up and you're gonna add some glue across the bottom. And I'm going to glue down the base first of my grass. I still haven't glued up here yet. Okay. So I glued down the bottom so that it stays. See that? And I still have a chance to play around with my freaky deaky snake here. There we go. Okay. And now I can start to gently add a little bit of glue. And the cool thing is I think it looks neat if you don't totally glue everything down. And again, we've done this before, where little bits, see how I just folded that? Will make your snake in the grass look three-dimensional. So I'm going to find some spots where I glue my snake down so that it's not going to move once I lift it. And I'm going to glue down my grass. And I know you guys can see me doing that. It's hard for me to be doing this and trying not to look at it at the same time. All right, there we go. So I've left little bits of the grass up and behind my snake. I better get his tail down. So it'll stay. And you'll be able to do this. I'm going to hold it up now. And there we go. Now again, it needs to dry, but you see it's probably pretty hard in here. Oh, if I go sideways, maybe you can see. It's got a little bit of dimension there, and I could even go in and give a few more blades of grass a little tweak, especially the ones that are behind my snake, because my snake is pushing on them. They're going in and out, and there we go. There's snake in the grass, okay? A little dimension, a little overlapping, and I really chose this one because we really need to practice our cutting skills. Cutting skills are really important. So anyway, I hope you had a good time doing that. Read through the posts that I put about snake in the grass, because it tells you about all the materials that you need to get together if you'd like to do paper mache. And if you remember my class last year, we did some really cool paper mache animals. It was a project. Many of you may have seen them in our class or in the hallway. I really love to do paper mache, and I think that's going to be our next project. It does get messy, so you need to get those materials together, and I'll work on step-by-step videos for that, okay? So there's Snake in the Grass, nice and easy. If you don't like the one you did the first time, do it again. All right, have a great day and get out and enjoy the sunshine, friends.